Yeah, so Instagram, Discord. If you don't know those, just scan them now. The slides may or may not be posted. This will be recorded, um, but like links if you want them. Um, so intro to CTFs. I honestly forgot what this QR code even was. Just leave that there. So first of all, what is a CTF? A CTF is basically just a way to have some sort of service or target or whatever thing someone wants to have, and it's just hacking it as like a sort of game. Essentially, in a competition, you will have a bunch of these services designed by challenge authors or developers, and they'll have specific vulnerabilities in them. And the goal of the competition is to basically score you on how well you solve these vulnerabilities and indicate how well you are, I guess, expertise in hacking as a general sense. Um, and essentially, each vulnerability gives you something called a flag, which is basically it's sort of meant to represent some sort of data that you would get if this was a real exploitation, like maybe like some sort of sensitive information, or just like some sort of indication that you actually did perform a successful exploitation of the service. Let's say, for example, you managed to get root in some service or some, I guess, like hack the box machine, whatever example. Um, it'll essentially prove that you number one knew what you were actually attacking, like what the vulnerability was, how to exploit such vulnerability, that sort of thing. And again, these flags, you submit them to the challenge, and you essentially get points for them. You get more points depending on how hard the challenge actually was. For example, an easy challenge will give you like X number of points. Hard challenges will give you more than X amount of points. I could have abbreviated here just hacking as a game, just as a sort of play on words from the normal abbreviations seen elsewhere. And types of CTFs. So there's two types of CTFs that are on top of my head. The first one is Jeopardy style CTFs. Basically, you have just an example of Jeopardy is, but you have some categories, and you essentially have a bunch of challenges within such category, and scoring them gives you however many point value it has. Uh, just like a sort of Jeopardy board. It's all like isolated from each other, just different sorts of vulnerabilities to demonstrate. And yeah, again, just like a Jeopardy board. Examples, of course, there's Pico CTF, there's our CTF, which we're going to be posting on January 9th to the 12th. Meta CTF, I'm going to get into that a bit later, and just every CTF, basically, most every CTF. And other style is called attack defense. Basically, um, essentially, you are both a victim and an attacker. It's a sort of network of other machines, and your goal is to do the best you can to both secure your own services from being hacked and getting flags exfiltrated out of, and also to attack other people's machines to get their flags out. So it's kind of like a sort of gamified method to do some sort of fun stuff like this. It's just, if you know what CCDC is, it's just CCDC, but you are also the red team at the same time. Examples, of course, there's King of the Hill by Try Hack Me. There's Faust CTF, which is a big CTF competition that does this sort of thing. There's also ISTS, which is an CTF or competition hosted by RIT. And we're not going to talk about this in the presentation, but this is just another sort of category. And next we have finding competitions. So if you want to play a competition, this is a big site that hosts it. It's called CTFTime. We have our own CTFTime if you want to scan that QR code, if you want to join it or are interested in it. We also have a feed on our Discord server of just like, it's like a bot that just gets current scheduled CTFs in a sort of close by time frame and just list them out there. But yeah, this is the big site to list out most competitions. Again, Jeopardy style competitions usually. If you want to like find competitions to do. There's also our CTF, which you have like a date here. Again, January 9th to 12th. Up at the top, it's actually, I put 9 to 11 here because the 12th is actually just like at 12 a.m. So it doesn't really matter, but that's our date. If you want to actually develop challenges, this is the link to the forum to submit like just like some general information about yourself if you actually want to help us with challenge authoring. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but that's just if you want to do it. Just leave it for a bit. If anyone wants to scan it, does anyone want to scan it?
Yeah,
If you want to.
it's if you guys really want to get involved with
Yeah,
like creating the CTF for our club. Good thing to put on a resume too, if you're interested in doing that.
I'll just okay. And here's the Meta CTF again mentioned. Meta CTF is a special kind of competition. It's essentially just a competition every month. It lasts for like around a few hours, maybe like 5 or so hours. Hence the flash in the name. It's individual. There's no teams in it. Most CTFs have teams in them, and you can get prizes from them. I think top three is the ones that get prizes. If you want to take a look at that, there's the link is also at the bottom over there. app.metactf.com. Pico CTF. Uh, Here's the website to it. It's played.picoctf.org/compete. There's a bunch of competitions. These are just like the completed ones, but be on the lookout because Pico CTF does host events every year. See here, there's 2025, there's 2023. There's also like some mini CTFs, like from the African CTF they held, for as an example. They don't list on CTFtime these specific Pico CTF events, so that's just another kind of site you want to look at. They're usually aimed for beginners and actually advanced players at the same time. And it's also really reputable. And and now here's platforms for learning actual like concepts. So first of all, speaking of Pico CTF, there's the Pico Gym. The Pico Gym is essentially a big collection of or like non-active CTF challenges made by Pico CTF. Um, there can be write-ups for these. They're kind of like far in between. There's no official write-up site for them, but people do host write-ups about such challenges. Um, there can be you can filter them by difficulty. So if you want like an easy challenge and say cryptography or something like that, it lists out easy challenges in cryptography. It's just a good way to like learn how to actually like do better in CTFs with like a learning beginner friendly based platform. Um, Again, solutions available, and here's the link for that. It's play.picoctf.org/practice. It's a really probably like the best thing I recommend because it is very beginner friendly. Next up is Pwn College. I could see here people seem to like Pwn College a lot. I found like a Reddit post about it. Um, but it's basically it's kind of it's more difficult than Pico CTF because this is aimed to be like much more advanced. And they have different sort of main belts. There's other sort of dojos they have, but they're called dojos. But they have main belts, which are just a bunch of beginner friendly like general concepts to like more binary exploitation concepts. This is a binary exploitation specific site. We'll be listing more like specific sites on category later on the slides, but this is a binary exploitation focused site to learn from. It's, again, very difficult. They do actually give you once you complete a belt like permanently once you complete a belt, they will give you like an actual like first of all a marking for your like what belt you have, and also they can give you a physical belt at say DEF CON, for example. They don't ship the belts out unless you get like a blue belt, which is like the very hard one at the end. But it's another big motivation if you're already interested in doing this to get like I guess to do more in it. And yeah, I can also show an example actually, just what it looks like. It's Pwn.college. Right here, go to dojos. There's just like learning like intro to Linux stuff. There's like basic like programming or it's called playing with program. I haven't really touched this one yet, but that's the name of it. There's other community dojos. There's like if you like cryptography, there's that. There's like Windows specific challenges that you can do. There's like their Arizona CTF. It's again just like a big collection of like a sort of specific type of challenge that you want, and you can also learn from. And yeah, I would get a belt, but my company's not giving me a return offer, unfortunately. Um, Pwnable.tw is another binary exploitation site. It's a bit archaic. Um, it's not something I tried specifically, but it is like because of how old it is and how static the challenges are, there's no like new challenges, I believe. You can find like write-ups on these challenges and can kind of like learn from them to, I guess, learn a bit more about binary exploitation. Again, like this is kind of what it looks like. There's like challenges with different like point values and stuff like that. CryptoHack is a cryptography specific learning platform. It has a bunch of different categories on like what cryptography thing you want to learn about. Like for example, like just hashing algorithms over there. If you want to learn about like RSA specifically, there's stuff over there. There's also like a general like pathway. So if you want to like actually like really focus on learning cryptography, it's like an introduction. There's like a general like basics you should know photography really, and you can check that out. Um, there's also we can just go on the site too. There's also like solutions. If you do solve a challenge, you can post your solution up. You can read other solutions. Um, Courses here. That's what I kind of already listed. There's challenges here. Another crypto specific site if you want to take a look at that also. GeoGuessr is good for open source intelligence, but I wouldn't really recommend it as like a OSINT specific learning platform. It's just if you really like GeoGuessr, because a lot of challenges would be like, hey, here's a picture, locate this specific building or something. If you really get a GeoGuessr and like actually like pinpointing locations from just like what the location looks like, that can help you out in those challenges. But it's not like a specific OSINT learning platform. It's just I want to put up there because it does teach you valuable skills if you really like GeoGuessr. Forensics, didn't check this one out also, but it is like does list a lot of good forensics-based challenges. Link is right here. It's a bit long to like memorize. It's cyberdefenders.com/blue team CTF challenges. Um, Again, just on like forensics, like here's some attack, figure out what happened with this attack, here's the log, something like that. Um, and yep, that's that one. And then for reverse engineering, I kind of didn't really put the categories before these, but just know that these are for the categories. Reverse engineering lists a bunch. It's kind of like pwnables.tw. Also go on this site too. I think it's yeah, .1. Just a bunch of wait, yeah, I think it requires you to log in, right? It doesn't. Yeah, just a bunch of binaries or programs that you'll get, and you reverse engineer them. You figure out what they do, and then you submit something to determine how you did it. I don't think there's any way to submit, but uh, that's that. Just another good way to learn like how to reverse engineer specifically. Yeah, just the Pwn College of Reverse Engineering, basically. Just without the belts in them. And Gray Swan is an AI jailbreaking or AI security platform specifically. Again, I didn't really touch this either, but it does have a lot of good like stuff. If you wanna work with AI, I'm not sure if it's a learning platform, but it does like have specific AI jailbreaking stuff. If you wanna take a look at that. If you're really good at this, of course, there's like prizes you can win. Like there's like actual money involved here. Here's the link, app.grace1.ai/arena. And of course, Hack the Box. Hack the Box is, if you know what Hack the Box is, it's just a site for both actual machines you can like get like footholds, nowhere to hero, basically like from nowhere to root. They also have like CTF challenges within Hack the Box. It's not the main goal of the site because they're mostly known for machines, but like there are good quality challenges here in case you want to check this out also. Here's the link, just hackthebox.com, just challenges really. And now for the actual categories, so you know what they mean in case you didn't really catch that already. First of all, there's crypto. Crypto is a mathematics specific category because cryptography is basically just mathematics. Um, so here you have, of course, they're mainly used for in the CA triad up there. They're mainly used for integrity and confidentiality in case you have some sort of message you want kept secret between two parties, or many parties, in case you want to make sure that a message, for example, wasn't tampered with by some random stranger, or at least harder to tamper with. Um, Goal number one for a crypto challenge is to, if you have some sort of if you have some sort of program that has confidential data, like for example, here's my ciphertext, crack the ciphertext, get the flag or something that's encrypted. Um, the goal is to, of course, figure out a vulnerability within such algorithm to decrypt a message and therefore get the context from that. Like, for example, the flag is encrypted. Um, and second, big thing in crypto challenges is to utilize some sort of vulnerability within the algorithm to arbitrarily encrypt or hash data uh, that we're not supposed to really hash. Like, for example, let's say the server has some sort of token, like on a website, for example, um, that you want arbitrarily forge tokens to say like, I'm the admin user, even though I'm not the admin user. Um, you utilize a vulnerability within this example program to send out a false token at the server that the server believes, and then therefore gives you admin privileges when you're not supposed to have them. That's just two of the main crypto challenges I've seen. Here's a relevant XKCD. Usually, people really into crypto will think that this actually happens. You'll have to solve like some really complicated crypto algorithm, but like usually this is actually what happens. It's just uh, not really like a super relevant category, even though it does like actually like happen in the real world. Just something funny I thought we could put on there. Also web exploitation. Put like these little jokes here because yeah. Um, Web exploitation. Two types of web exploitation. There is client-side exploitation. Like for example, let's say a site lets you make a post or something that other people can see. Um, let's say like you can make a post where it's like, hey, I made a post. Everyone check out my post. I posted about frogs or something. You can have some sort of vulnerability in the site where you can actually insert specific like HTML tags. It's called XSS. You can insert like HTML tags, and the server or the client treats them like actual HTML like uh, tags or data, and you can like essentially like for example make them run like some arbitrary script or JavaScript to like get their specific web tokens. You can like do some sort of attack where you can make them access another site as that specific like as their user to like do something like that. Maybe like also get their web token, or like make them like change their password to like 123 or something, and then log in as them. A lot of great vulnerabilities that can be used in this sort of thing. There's also server-side vulnerabilities. Example, SQL injection, database accesses, searches via your username. You can like change it so the query is actually like username or true, so that way like gets the first person, which is probably the admin user, and gets treats that information like it was actually like your username. You can make the server access external sites. It's called SSRF. You can make them access external sites as that specific web server. So maybe like you have a screenshot service where you can like go to like a web page where it's like screenshot some HTML website, and you can like make it do like the website itself, so you can get like access to like some confidential localhost only web directory. Um, just common examples, but this is another category. It's just about websites really. Um, Binary exploitation. I'm just gonna pause this. Yeah. Um, I love binary exploitation because of the thing you can see here. Um, Low-level exploitation is basically just low-level programs. For example, JavaScript's just-in-time compiler, like I think the V8 engine. It's a very it can be vulnerable sometimes and give you like access to lower level security vulnerabilities, which can be very dangerous. Obviously, there's also kernel exploitation against like the Linux kernel, for example, where you can, for example, change your process to like a root privilege process. Um, there's that sort of stuff. There's also like just userland normal exploitation, where it's like some C program is written. You can like enter X amount of characters that you're not supposed to enter in after some sort of specified. This is why strings are kind of hard to do in C. You can like have some sort of buffer and then just kind of like write past this buffer to access other pieces of memory that you're not supposed to actually access. Um, every single programming language has some sort of lower level aspect to it. It's just like does it have vulnerabilities or not really? Um, you have to have an understanding of things like assembly or just how the memory and CPU actually works to like get into this topic. It's the most, I'd say the most technical topic because it does require like a lot of like deep like knowledge of like lower level fundamental stuff, which can be like basically ignored in higher level languages that most people use. Um, and again, for example, most intermediate or beginner challenges, the program you're exploiting will run as a user capable of reading such a flag that your user cannot read. So like maybe this is root, for example. You have to exploit the program that the root process is running to essentially make the root process, for example, open up like a shell, for example, like a command shell or a terminal, and then you have a command terminal as the root user. That's just one big example commonly seen in CTFs. And it's not really a problem to worry about these vulnerabilities if you use like a higher level language like Rust, for example, is very made to be memory safe. Um, and yeah, it's just a fun little category that I like a lot. Here, there's like a little thing I put just.
You say it's too late to make it. What is it too late to try?
Oh, okay, hold on. This is.
You say it's too late to make it. What is it too late to try? And all our time that you wasted, all of our bridges burned down. I've wasted my nights. You turned out the lights.
Yeah, that's just a fun description of the two categories. Thought it was kind of funny to put in here. Um, Next category is called forensics. Again, like said before, forensics is mainly you have some sort of incident, some sort of like for example like a breach or something like that. You want to investigate like what actually happened, how this breach actually happened, or maybe you have like some sort of like disk image of something like someone's computer. You want to analyze someone's computer for like who they are, like maybe like some sort of if like a cyber criminal or something like what motivation did they have. It's just like a investigative sort of category. It sometimes overlaps with OSINT, open source intelligence, which is later in the slide. Um, but it's usually just like either you investigate some sort of network, like the captured packets of some cyber attack going on, or you have some sort of disk image you want to analyze. There's also like memory analysis, like this process got attacked. Here's the memory dump of it. Analyze the memory dump, figure out what the attack was, or something like that. A lot, a lot of different things you can put in forensics. Just it's like a catch-all category, but these are the common two things that I thought on top of my head. Um, and yeah, next is OSINT. This is David, former president of RUSEC. He's very big on OSINT. Um, it again does overlap with forensics, but the OSINT is more about actually figuring out who someone is or like where something is. So, for example, so the challenge will give you like a user. This user named Alice was on Twitter at 2:15 p.m. What did she post? Or it's like, here's an image. Here's a house somewhere in Normandy or something. Um, what address is this house at? And there's no like information. You're trying to get the information. Um, and again, you will be given a target or you will not be given a target specifically. Just the general goal is to investigate something and figure out what this is really. Like use the internet to figure out what this actually is. Um, Reverse engineering, I don't like reverse engineering myself, but it is a fun category if you actually like it. That's why I put the things over here. Essentially, just the good luck, have fun of categories. You have something, some binary, some program is given to you. Figure out what it does. Just here you go. And there's two ways of doing this. Usually at the same time, you do kind of both these tactics. Um, Number one is using programs like Ghidra or Binary Ninja to actually look at like a sort of rough decompilation, like a sort of like, because you only have the assembly code of it, you want to like figure out roughly like what this does in a more abstract way. You want to like get some abstraction out of the binary that's not there. You want to create some, which is what these programs do. There's also dynamic analysis, which is actually using such binary, running it in some sort of VM or something like that, to like track what services does it reach out to, what behaviors do, what what system calls do it do, like what API calls do it do. Um, and that's just the two ways of doing it. Nothing really important else to add here. It's just like figure out what the binary does. Figure it out. Good job. Here's a flag that's in the binary somehow. Um, there's also miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is like the last category. It's um it's just a category for like hey, we don't know what category this is, but it's a cool topic. Just throw it in the we don't know category, and there's really no rules here. It's just whatever the topic is, really. Um, yeah, nothing else to explain here. And honorable mentions, of course, for categories. Number one is hardware. Hardware is a category. I've only really seen it in NahumCon CTF, if you know what that is. Basically, the goal is to like you have some sort of physical device, or like some low-level-ish device, whatever, some sort of like physical device, at least in theory, that you want to like basically just either reverse engineer, exploit, whatever. And Harris is someone who was in the previous e-board. If you say his name 3 times, Legend says you'll get an IoT pen test. This actually won't happen. I just put it in there. And that's his icon if you want to have that. Networking, also in NahumCon CTF, is my main thing I've seen it in. Basically, it's all about like the OSI model, like on the packet level. Like, for example, you have some sort of web server that only accepts TCP if it has the RST flag of a packet instead of the SYN flag as a packet. They kind of switched around, just like sort of play on like the standard networking protocols. Really, again, I only saw it in this CTF, so it's like kind of hard to like describe it, but that's kind of what I've seen. Programming category is just about specific application or specific like some sort of problem, maybe like some sort of binary or server uh, is doing something. You want to like programmatically interact with it to where it satisfies such conditions to give you a flag. There will be like algorithms for sometimes. I know Sakai CTF does these sort of things where it's like design a proper algorithm fitting such conditions, and then if you do it right, you get the flag. Like also, for example, like you have some sort of program that gives you a maze. Figure out the shortest way to solve a maze and do it 20 times very fast because it wants to make sure it's a script and not like a human. Um, if you do that right, which means you scripted it correctly, then you get a flag. And also AI. AI is, again, some sort of, it's an application, um, and it can be maliciously targeted. Usually it's prompt injection challenges like, hey, AI, you can interact with this user, but like, here's some information you want to know. You want to get the information that was put in the prompts that you're actually like inserting into. If it's like a rough description, it's very overused. It's like the same thing in every CTF challenge. But there can be cool concepts. Like I know UIU CTF used a AI agent that that like could access an external MCP server. It's called. Not gonna get into that. Just an AI protocol used to like load an external tool in that can change its behavior in some way that like is your MCP server, and get the flag that way. When the AI was said not to get the flag, it can like access your tool and get kind of like trick itself into giving you the flag. Didn't really solve that challenge, but that's kind of like I think what the goal was there. Um, Also, a shameless plug to my site. I do post some blogs like every year or so, if even. Um, Not a learning platform, I guess, but if you want to read some cool challenges I did that I want to write up about, there you go. Um, And that's it. That's kind of a bit of a short presentation, I guess. Like 30 minutes or so. If you have any questions, does anyone have any questions about this? No? Okay. Oh, yep. We don't know yet. Midterms and stuff. If we find a cool CTF, we'll like announce it, and you can participate in it if you really want to. Is that? Yeah, RUSEC CTF. That is in the next slide or so.
Technically next semester though, but yeah.
Yeah, next. Well, it's like winter break.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
If I've never done a CTF before, which one do you think I should go to? Which one do you think I should try?
I would actually go back to the first thing here. Um, if you if you want to do a CTF like and you just want to like get started into it, again CTFTime, it lists like I'll actually show it right now. Um, if it'll load, that'll be great. It lists like upcoming competitions. It gives them a weight. Um, weight usually means it's going to be harder but of higher quality because more people have played it, it's been there for longer. There's zero weight challenges. That weighting doesn't really, it just means quality, but also can mean that's going to be harder. But like if you want to find like a general competition that you want to do, just take a look at the site. It's kind of where they're mostly listed in. And if you want to like also just like there's these sites here. I think it's yeah Pico Gym also if you want to like just do a challenge like do challenges without any like need to look for like ongoing competition. They're just right there with write-ups in there. Did I answer your question? Or? Okay. Um, anyone else? Okay. Do you want to do? Yeah, I have some homemade CTF problems that I made. There will be a workshop on CTF specifically on December 3rd. If you want, we can do these, but if not, then I guess that's it really. Um, raise your hand if you wanna. Hmm? Sure. What category should we do? There's like a bunch of categories I made. Hmm? Hmm? What? Sure. Richie, raise your hand. Okay, that's good. Um, yeah, this actually might be a bit, uh, okay. It's okay if you don't get this. This might have been a bit more complicated than I intended, but it's an easier version. How is this code vulnerable? Does anyone know? That is true. PHP does suck. Um, but like, besides being a PHP, how is this vulnerable? Just any weird things going on here. Okay. Oh, Ruby? I think actually no, you're right. So again, this is kind of a hard thing. I don't know why I put this there. Big thing with web is backend stuff is very important if it's vulnerable. This is a common vulnerability. It's called local file inclusion. Yeah, but include basically just it kind of loads a file in and just reads it out to you. So like that's for example, you have a site here. You can specify a document to read out, and if it's a valid document, it'll read out the document to you. Like index.php, it'll read out the index.php document to you, or execute it actually. You can also do like instead say docs, and your document is actually dot dot slash etc password, and you can read out like etc password, which is a very important Linux file containing usernames, maybe etc shadow, but if your web's running as root, then you're already kind of cooked anyway. Um, it's a common vulnerability, and this is one way to read out sensitive files. And also, I did put a bonus here. Say for example, say somehow I'm not gonna put the code here because we're taking too much space, but say you have an endpoint called uploads where you can upload any file you want anywhere on the site, and it'll give you back the URL that was uploaded at. or actually the actual path it was uploaded to. How would this be even more dangerous than what I described there, where you could just read out any file you want? I did hint that include does run PHP scripts, which is a big hint. Does anyone know?
Would it be just because if you use upload, you could just like do the dot slash and keep like appending that and return whatever file you want?
That's part of it, yeah. But like, how would this be more dangerous if you can upload any file you want, file extension, whatever you want, any sort of file? Yeah.
So again, I don't know what includes it, but you said it would run the directory path, right?
Yeah.
So you can like upload some like reverse shell to your own computer and then have include open that path and then overrun the program.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The thing with include is that this is very dangerous by itself because it can also run. It's meant to like include PHP files. Like for example, you have a site, you have database, PHP contains all your database information. You want to like copy that everywhere else. You can mess with this to include your own PHP script that you uploaded, and therefore essentially get just code execution on the web server, which can give you like a shell, like a reverse shell, for example, or just anything you want the user to do, which is basically the end goal of exploitation, running any code you want as a user. Did that make sense to anyone? Good? Okay. This is also web. Do we still want to do web? Okay. Um, this is a bit more difficult-ish. This is about client-side exploitation. Anyone have any ideas on how this could be vulnerable? I'll give you a hint here. There's a script at the bottom that says alert welcome. Not sure if that's a big, if that's even a hint, but alert welcome is JavaScript, and look what's going on up there, just arbitrarily. Yeah. Not set a cookie, because the server PHP sessions are kind of designed, not really designed, but like they're not like that's not the point. No. Um, Again, look at the bottom where there's a script tag, and look at what it does here, where it just echoes out arbitrary like raw site information. This is on the server. This is a PHP server. The HTML is being sent to the client as HTML. Yeah. So like you upload a joke, it'll say the joke out to anyone who goes to this endpoint, right? It is a bit hard actually. Anyone want a hint? Okay. Say you upload as a joke. It goes by create your joke. Not sure if I made that clear here, but you control the joke part here. Let's say, did anyone say something? Okay. Let's say joke here. You upload something called wherever that sign is, caret h1 caret hello, and then this ending tag here. Like that's your joke. What would actually be displayed on the site? Would the tags be displayed, or would just the hello be displayed inside such tags you uploaded? Like let's say for example, let me just open a document actually, like a notepad. So let's say, oh my god.
It's fine.
Okay, let's say you create this endpoint, whatever, blah blah blah, and then the output is h1, what was it, joke by your name. You can't change this part, it's just part of the cookie. And then what should we upload? Anyone have any idea on like what we could upload here or like yeah? You don't need to break out, but you're on the right track. Yeah. So what would we upload? Specifically, like this, or like opening of what? What tag? Yeah, like this. So like that. So what does this look like to the client? You're an HTML web browser. You're parsing HTML. What would this display as? Ignore all the fact that we upload this H1 part. What would this display as? Yeah, it would display as joke by your name and then just A. There's no, the tags won't be filtered. Yeah. There's another endpoint. I probably should clarify. There's another end. Actually, it's right here. Actually, submit joke. It's not part of this code, but like that puts the code. Okay, that is the answer. Okay. Um. Okay. Should I just do you want to know the answer? I can explain it. Okay. Oh my God, this keyboard. Okay, so you can submit a joke, uh, like this. So, uh, joke by your name and then this. What would this do? Any idea? Anything? Throw anything out. Exactly. Document.cookie is a JavaScript uh, variable containing all the non-HTTP only cookies, which we don't need to talk about right now. Just cookies that are like available to JavaScript. And then what fetch does is fetch can fetch any IP address that you, or any website that you want, make a web query, um, and essentially what it does is goes to your attacker domain, like for example, evil dot something dot Rutgers.edu. I don't know. Hopefully not Rutgers.edu actually. Um, evil dot LOL or something, and then it'll query with this parameter cookie with your browser cookies of the site. So you'll then check your web requests. I'll do this in a workshop. I'm going to do a demo, but you'll check your web requests. You'll get a request from the user that got this HTML with their login or their token as their user, and you can just change your token to their token, and then you're the user now, because that's how tokens work. Yeah.
So if you upload this joke, then it gets uploaded by another user when they open up the main page.
Like, what do you mean?
Like how is this script getting on? This is like this is XSS, like you're injecting.
Yeah, that is XSS. Yeah.
Where are they getting the jokes from other people?
Oh no, it's right here. They access this thing and just like gets all the jokes from database. It's just pseudocode kind of, and then just prints out the jokes for each joke that was entered to the database. Yeah. And then this it is kind of like hard because what's the server, what's the back? Yeah, the server gives PHP sort of generates HTML like on the go, and then this is what's being generated as HTML. And you essentially just get the point is you get arbitrary HTML injection, quote unquote, which can be very dangerous with JavaScripts like this, for example. It's a very common web vulnerability. Do we have time for one more? Do you want to do one more? That's the last of web. What category next? Just one problem, probably. I can choose if no one.
You guys don't remember the categories? You have like reverse engineering,
Yeah.
OSINT, things like that.
Benex? I want to. Okay. We'll do the easy Benex if we don't really have much time. There's Benex. Very simple. Very simple C program. Yeah, this is why strings are scary in C, and you should never write in C. How is this vulnerable? Yeah. Did you? Okay. That's good. That's correct. Yeah. If you enter a. Oh wait. Actually, how is that vulnerable? Yeah. I'm not gonna teach you about uh in-depth Linux right now because that is like gonna take a long time, and I do like to ramble. But essentially, you have a buffer allocated by the stack if you know what the stack is. If you don't, that's okay. Um, 69 characters are meant to have any data you want on the stack. They're like you're meant to have something of 69 length. But if you write 70 characters by the scanf, which just gets any characters you want, no length restriction at all. Um, let's say you write 69 plus 100 or something, I don't know. You can write past this buffer and access outside memory, which, again, I'm not going to explain how the stack works, but this is very bad because it does give you some in-binary code execution because you can just modify some value on the stack that, yeah.
Is this still normal under full stack protections? Because there's no
We're,
link.
I'm not, we're not going into stack protections right now.
Oh, so you're assuming the number.
Well, it doesn't really matter. It's just,
Whether it was an 8 by canary, how would you get around the?
well, that doesn't, that's kind of like beyond the scope of this.
Oh,
Yeah, that is a protection. It's kind of like, that would be very long to get into. But yeah, you can write past this buffer, modify outside memory, potentially modify a thing on the stack called the return address, which just tells you what next the function to go to is. You could just jump anywhere in the binary, get like execute any function you want within the binary. Goal is to get some sort of command line shell as this user and essentially escape the binary. Um, and yeah, that doesn't really that explanation doesn't really matter. But that the point is, yeah, you want to really go by length limitations in C because C trusts everything you do, even if it's gonna hurt you. 9 more minutes left. One more? Huh? Listen? Okay. I'm gonna do this one. Sorry. Oh, I didn't mean singular. I just wanted to ask. Okay. So where is this location? Correct.
For anybody who's old like me or just has bad eyesight, that says university post office.
Yeah.
Would there be a way to determine what that is if you are a Rutgers student?
Well, this is just a Rutgers presentation, but yeah, you would. It's just a bit harder.
I mean, you could use hints like there's a lot of red there, so you could maybe hint if you knew like the area was a university. You could then use Google Maps and like use like their 3D map where you could just like place yourself there and kind of just figure it out. I mean, there are ways. It's just kind of harder without kind of knowing the area.
Yeah. We're going by like where this picture is, but essentially, anyone have any ideas what this is like specifically? Look for clues. Yeah. That spot. Were you in Newell Apartments before? That's good. Yeah. I was also in Newell Apartments. But yeah. Assuming you don't know what this area is. Where would you know where it is? Yeah, you raise your hand.
the environment.
How?
The Cook and Douglas campus is a lot more wooded, more nature area, so I think that it would be Cook and Douglas.
Right. That is true. Assuming that you don't really know how Rutgers looks like at all. You're like, I don't know, in a name a country, Britain or something. Um, what's a landmark that you can use, a very obvious landmark that can hint down, uh, actually, this might be a bad example, whatever. What's a landmark here? Like a very obvious landmark that you would look for, yeah?
Post office.
Was that your answer as well? Yeah. Post office, any text in an image is very important because text is kind of like text is socially constructed. You know, maps. I'm not gonna actually. It's a bad ramble. Text can tell you where you are, like street signs.
License plates.
License plates if they are not blurred out, which I think they should be.
You still kind of know from the color though. Like
Yeah,
only
yeah.
really New Jersey used that type of yellow plates. At least United States.
I did not know that, but that's
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, any sort of text, any sort of landmarks. Um, I'm not sure actually. 'Cause I don't really do much OSINT. But I do know that when I do have an OSINT challenge, I do look for text. I look for like logos, look for restaurants names, any sort of like human-made thing, because nature is everywhere. Trees are everywhere. Trees are, unless you're like Rainbow or something, where like the tree looks Polish or something. Um, you want to look for landmarks because those are like the biggest things to look for. Um, do we have 5 more minutes?
I have one more question.
Hmm?
So I'm only adding this because it's literally having me watch it go really dumb. Anytime you do an OSINT challenge, look at the metadata of an image.
Yeah.
It might literally give you the screen tip.
Yeah.
If they give you the metadata, of course.
Yeah.
If you just get like an actual image and they don't give anything, then you gotta go off of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I literally spent like an hour or two on a challenge once and felt really dumb after because I never checked the metadata. But instead I checked like really like long roundabout ways after.
They do try and strip metadata, but like in an easy challenge where it's they will have like GPS coordinates in there because that is actual metadata that in images.
Or it might have like this account from this app, took this picture and then figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, that sort of thing. It is usually stripped, but like that is sometimes rarely there, and it does essentially just give you the location. Um, 656. We can try this out. I thought this was the easiest of them, I think. Actually, forensics or crypto? Raise your hand for crypto. That's good. No one should raise their hand. Um, what is this? This is forensics. This should be pretty simple. Um, this is called a packet capture. It's in a program called Wireshark. If you don't know what that is, it just analyzes packets on the network. This is a web request. What is this attack? Identify the attack. Yeah, how's the XO addiction? The OR? Yeah, that's good. In forensics challenges with network captures, this was made very simple because it just says it kind of right there. But forensics, you kind of like want to look at what you have and then figure out like any key information like this, for example. The TCP doesn't really matter. It's just how the web or how the packets work. You want to look for like clues or keynotes in the information you have to kind of like make a portfolio or something of information where you can get some sort of abstraction, which is abstraction is very good, and kind of explain like what you're looking at. This is a program called the Vulnerable Web App. It's a vulnerable web application. What's up, Q? Um, it's a vulnerable web application meant to showcase vulnerabilities in websites. I could have actually shown this, probably in the CTF workshop, but that's basically what forensics is, just kind of figuring out what an attack or what an incident is based on keynotes or information that you already have. Not gonna go into a very hard forensics challenge because that would have been a lot of screen space. Forensics tends to do that, but yeah, um, we're looking at 2 more minutes left. Let me just check what I have here. Okay, last one. Reverse engineer this code. It's reverse engineer. What is it doing?
Did they give you the code when they tell you to reverse engineer something?
Uh, Actually, that's a good question. They give you a compiled program, because that's what kind of reverse engineering is. You have some sort of compiled program, because again, compiled programs tend to like be compiled and lose their information. And you want to figure out what this compiled program is doing to kind of get a rough estimate on what the source code is, if that makes sense. Um, this is obviously stupid. That's why. Just kidding. Please don't do Rev. This is harder than it looks. I don't think we have time if you want to stay a bit longer, but like you don't have to. I'm going to post these slides. There is solutions at the bottom. Um, This is pretty simple. Only thing to know, reverse challenges tend to include like stupid pieces of code that don't do anything. Because if you look here, literally everything is, I'm not gonna explain why, but literally everything is redundant except for this bottom part, which is just A, because look at what the bottom part here is doing. Q, and then just index A, which is this formula right there. Everything else doesn't matter because that's what Rev does. It tends to make it really difficult for you to understand what the code is doing. It's called dead code. It's a common Rev tactic. I think everyone's busy. If you want to stay longer, you can, but if you want to call it here, then I will post the slides out. So. Cool. Should I just keep it up? Or?
Yeah, just end the OBS. That's it.
Yeah. Sweet.